So this could be the last time I'll actually be able to stand in this spot, because we are finally going to be building the bed.
Yeah, it's going to be a raised bed that's going to slide out, and there's going to be a space underneath it for a garage, so it hopefully should work out pretty well.
Can't wait for this one.
So even though we've got the longest transit that you can possibly get, we're not going to have a fixed bed at the back, and the reason for that is because we're going to have a shower which is going to be in this kind of area, and also a little seating area which is going to wrap around here. So if we did have a fixed bed at the back, that would span too far into that area.
Yeah, it's still quite wide, even if we did that.
Yeah, so I think our plan is that we're going to have like a half fixed bed at the back, and then it slides out to create the full length that we need it. And also, the reason why we can't have the bed going that way as well is because Tim is so tall that it doesn't really fit. And also we didn't really like the thought of someone being on the side that's next to the doors. So I think that's our plan. Hopefully it'll work. And it will also, being raised, give us a garage underneath where all of our electrics and things like that are going to go.
Quite a sizable space for the garage as well.
Yeah.
This is a little bit higher than it will actually be, but it's roughly in the right place. And conveniently, these bits of cladding are exactly the right length to be able to play around with different designs. And ideally what we want to be able to do is to span the full width with a single beam, so that we can have the maximum space down here, because this is where the water tanks are going to be on that side and the batteries on this side. So there's going to be a fixed beam at the back, and another one here which will be the sliding one, and then a fixed one here which is the end of the garage and forms a garage wall, and then another sliding one there. So the plan is that these two will slide out to make the full extent, and rest. They're got to sit somewhere, either on the backs of the chair or on a bit of the shower wall or something like that, but something will hold that there, and then it'll be super, normal length that way.
Yeah. So before we get started with any of the bed building, we're just going to clad a little bit here, sort of just past the garage wall, maybe up to here somewhere, and sort of up halfway this way. And the reason for that is just because if we already build the bed and try to clad behind it, it might be a bit awkward for us. So just do this little section and then we'll get cracking. So we varnished the backs of our cladding twice now, so that's all done, and we're going to have the front of them white. So before we start painting them white, we're just going to use our Wicks knotting solution just on any knots here, just to stop any of the resin from seeping through to the paint once it's on there. So just do that quickly and then get to painting.
It's looking very gold and spotty, Abby. You sure about this?
That's what they said to use. So it's taken a little while to get to this point, but we think we're finally ready to actually put this cladding up. We had to do a few things beforehand. There's loads of coats of paint on this because we bought some knotting solution that was actually wrong. We shouldn't have used. It was a dark brown colour, and it took a lot of coats of paint to cover it, and even then it didn't really. So then we had to use this Zinsabin stuff, which is like an all-in-one primer, sealer, etc. shellac based thing, which covered it, and then we were able to put our top coat on. We also had to make holes in our cladding in places. Here's one example. We had to cut a hole because our conduit has to come through it, So we had to decide where that was coming based on where everything is in our electrical panel, on this side particularly.
So you've done a lot of work on the bed before actually building the bed.
Yeah, and one other thing I forgot is we had to put up all this insulation behind here because we hadn't quite done it yet. So that took a little while as well. So now we are ready, Freddy. Then we can do the thing we originally intended to do, which is make our bed.
I actually forgot that we were building the bed, to be honest. It's amazing, that completes like quite a big chunk of the van actually, doesn't it? Makes a big difference.
Good. Alright, should we actually make our bed now?
We can actually make the bed. So we're just trying to figure out what we want to use to build the main support beams across the van, the width that are going to hold our weight on the bed. So we've just simulated a little mock-up here. So these two things, what do you call these?
Support.
These two support up things are exactly the width of what the width of the van is. And then we've just got a few different types of timber and some metal struts to test it out. This looks ridiculously not level at all, but according to Spirit Level it is. So yeah, this is with 2x1.
Yeah.
You can see it's...
That's very bendy.
Yeah, this is just more for fun.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if I put my full weight on this, it would just snap. 2x2s. Okay, so I can actually sit on it this time, but there is some flex in there. 2x3s. See, that is actually quite strong. I feel like that's going to...
Yeah, there's a tiny bit of bone, but not much.
So these are basically the beam that would normally go in the middle of a bed. Most of the beds IKEA sells, and you can pick them up separately if you go to IKEA. And what's quite cool about them, if I find the right end, is that they're, oh, wrong end, they're telescopic, so they just can expand to any length you need. These should be pretty strong. But the one reason we thought we'd test all the wood is because even though these are like fairly light, they're actually not super light. What do we weigh them at? They're about 3.6 kilograms each, which is actually a lot heavier than all of the different wood choices. But the difference is, if we have this and it's super strong, we might not need any other support. So, any flex?
No.
Everything in the van is always a trade-off. So this time our trade-off is weight and complexity. If we use the Scorva beams, really simple potentially,
Yeah.
but yeah, they are actually a little bit heavier.
It's weight versus strength.
So what do you reckon? Use the IKEA beams?
I think so.
Okay. So we need to build some legs, a little runner for them to sit on,
Yep.
sliding mechanism,
Yep.
cut all slats,
Yep.
and then that's pretty much it. We've got a bed.
Easy. I didn't take half now.
I should really stop saying that,
Yeah,
shouldn't
you
I?
should.
So we decided we wanted to bulk through the cladding so that this is as strong as it can be, secured somewhere. That's nice and strong there.
Looks pretty solid.
We'll put a washer behind them when we bolt them in properly, but yeah, that's nice. We're just using some 80mm M6 bolts, which are basically like pretty much the longest ones we could find.
Yeah.
That this is a 2x3, and that is just enough so that when it goes through the bedpost, through the cladding, through the batten on the other side, and into the van, which has got the riv nut in it, and then should stick out the other side of the riv nut. This may be the start of a real 3D object. Alright, so I'm about 11 stone. Last time I weighed myself anyway. So let's see if it takes my weight. Okay.
Ooh,
Any flex?
not really. Yeah, this is a good way to get some exercise, Tim.
Yeah, I know, I was just thinking we've got pull-up bar.
This is getting quite exciting now. It's really starting to come together. You can actually start to see exactly how it's going to work. The runners on the side are going to be the top of our backrest of our bench seats. So we had to work out what was high enough to be a comfortable backrest, and also would that make the bed low enough to be able to sit up in bed and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not been easy.
Yeah, the hardest part of building this bed so far is that it's a bit of a maths problem.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's a bit of a mind bender. Because our first thought was, well, okay, we've got a bed. It's going to be in 2 halves, so this half during the day, and then extend another half again for when it's a full-size bed. But obviously the slats, you can't have 50% there and the 50% down there, because it's obviously got to overlap this. So these sliding ones are going to overlap that way, and the fixed ones are going to overlap that way. So you've got to add on an extra bit of that to cover the slat. And then on this side, we're extending it over the overhang here as well, because when the door closes, we've got all this extra space. We figured we might as well actually use that and put the mattress along there. So that is a full length of slat, like that, which is about 112 centimetres for us. But then the other thing that makes it a bit confusing is that when this slides out, this one is going to slide to this one, but this one is fixed. So as this slides along here, it can't go past this wall. That is fixed distance. And so that there is the maximum that you can slide this one out here, because it's all going to be joined together. So like that. So we originally had this slightly further back, but we've had to move these two a little bit further forward, so that this distance here, when you slide that one there, it will slide the same amount on this side and just make the length we need to have enough slats to cover the full span, the length of our mattress we've got.
Right, let's cut these bed slats then.
Yeah, it's the easy part, hopefully. So this is the wood we're going to use for the slats. It's about 7 centimetres wide and about 15 mil deep. Fairly flexible, as you can see, so hopefully when we've got enough of them on, it will be quite a nice solid foundation. Got enough slats there.
A bit heavier than I thought it would be. I feel like Gus from Cinderella. So we've got a little mock construction going on behind us just before the big day tomorrow, when hopefully we can put it all together and it'll be okay.
Had a few minor adjustments out here, so it's good exercise. But we've basically got, these are the runners that will be in the van, then the 4 scorver beams, and we've made these all the same height. But what we have done is we've got our little blocks that are going under here to stop it having this sharp angle digging into the wood. And then on the sliding ones, we've just put a bit of a felt pad on the bottom, just so that slides really nice and smooth on there. So that now slides nicely. And then the crucial part to make this work is that the sliding beam, which is going to be this one and this one, needs to be able to slide freely underneath the fixed slats, which basically means the fixed slats need to be very slightly higher up, or higher than these beams. So we've just put, in this test, we've got, not that one, put little washers. This is a fixed one. We've got little washers underneath the fixed slat and washers underneath this fixed slat, and that means that when we slide this, the only ones moving are the 2 sliding ones, and they will be obviously screwed into there. So it's freely passing under these ones. But we also realised we can actually just put washers in all of them, because what this does is create a tiny little drop. Each sliding one is a little bit lower down. So I think what we're going to do is put basically washers. These will be held in by the screws. And put washers in like that, and now all the slats are the same height, and all of the wood is a little bit away from the beam, so that when they're screwed down, hopefully it won't grip. The only other thing we've done is we've put a little chamfer with the router on the end of the slats, so that when this is the fixed one, when this slides into there, it should hopefully slide nice up there. Might not even be necessary that, because they're going to be a little bit higher anyway, and the scorvers already have a kind of bevel on them. But just taking into account everything we can, so that hopefully it'll slide nice and freely. That should work good.
So today is the day. Hopefully by the end of today we're going to have a fully functioning bed. We shall see. Wish us some luck.
Just drilling the holes for the little blocks that are going underneath. I thought it might be really hard to drill into these scorver beams, but actually it's not going too bad, which is quite a nice surprise.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Oops.
That's not ideal. The type of screws that we have tried to screw these scorver beams down with are not the best. We didn't really consider the countersunk element of these.
Yeah, a bit wibbly, isn't it?
Yeah. So we were going to get some new screws which just had a flat top, but actually we decided to instead make these little sort of wafers of wood, which we're going to take these screws out and put that over there and then screw down so that we can actually countersink and it all just sandwich together. So hopefully that will work. Cool. Feels pretty solid now. It's much better than it was, so. I like these little things we've made. They look like chalkboard erasers. They're just little pads that you put on the bottom of furniture to stop it from scratching your floor or whatever.
Just put another one on the edge, just so that the sliding ones don't scuff the van walls.
Because the sliding ones will have a little bit of wiggle room left and right because of the gaps between the slats.
So we've got one slat in now, but we're going to have to take it out again.
Well, at least we only realised on the first one. Yeah, what we've discovered, or we didn't remember anyway, is that the width here is actually a bit shorter than the width over there. It's about 1.5 centimetres different.
Yeah, the van gets slightly wider as you come back this way, which means you're all going a little bit skew, we realise.
Yeah, so what we had done is made this one straight with the wall. And if we'd carried on like that, it would have gone really wonky by the time we got to that end, so...
But then the other problem is we also screwed it into the wrong beam.
Yeah.
We screwed in from the fixed slat at the back
into
to the sliding slat at the front.
We're not doing very well.
And I came to
today,
move this, I was like, wait a minute, it's not what? Oh, whoops.
our screw going in. Finally.
Right, let's see if it actually works.
Just take all this junk off. Right, are you ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm
This is
quite
where
excited
it
actually.
doesn't work. Okay. Here we go.
Oh, look at that!
Oh man, that is exciting. Oh, it's right on the edge of the beam though. Wow.
Nice.
It finally worked.
We've actually got a bed.
We do, look at
Now
that.
see if it actually goes back in as well.
Okay, ready? Here are nice felt pads in action. Look at that.
Like a dream.
Sweet. Oh, it's so funny when you think about something for so long. It's so nice to finally actually see it happening. And it looks simple, but this
It looks
was not
ridiculously
simple. There we are, no creaking, no nothing. I have a bed. I've got a bed at last.
I can do it with one finger, look. Do it with my pinky. Build a bed with a pinky.
Awesome. So the day has arrived. Our mattress is here, or should we say mattresses, since there's two of them. Ooh,
It's quite exciting, isn't it?
it is.
So we need to leave it at least 6 hours to expand properly. So hopefully it should go down to a nice flat shape.
There we are. Ta-da! We have a mattress. Scissors.
So we went for 12 centimetre memory foam for the mattress, and we got an extra firm base. So hopefully, even though it's that thin, it will still be comfortable to sleep on. And the reason we only went for 12 is so that when we have it in couch mode, we can still sit on the bed and hopefully not hit the ceiling, which we'll test when it's expanded a little bit. Alright, first test of the whole bed. So to make our lives easier, we've gone for a fitted sheet for each half of this, so hopefully this will fit, and that way we don't have to faff about taking it off in the morning. So couch to bed.
Lovely jubbly.
Yeah, that doesn't actually take too long, does it?
No. Yeah.
That already looks quite comfy, doesn't it? Look at that.
Nice. Night night.
That is awesome. So we've gone for 184 centimetres long, and I think, what is it, it's 148 centimetres wide. So this is the part where we find out if our design's actually going to be practical for the morning routine, right? So
We have to take this one off.
there we go, couch mode.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the final test. Can I actually sit on it? We tried to measure it so that during the day it'll just be a really thick seat cushion. It's going to be tight, what do you reckon? It does actually kind of work.
That's not bad, is it? Could lie down on it this way as well. If you just needed a little nap or something. Yeah, that's fine, isn't it? Uh-oh.
Oh, Jackson found the bed again. Does it pass the cat test? No.
Why do they always go for the lap instead?
It's obviously not as comfortable as me. So that's the bed done. Really happy with that.
I think someone likes it.
Feel free to subscribe if you're enjoying our videos, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.